At Homeboy Industries, it's tough sometimes for enemies to work alongside their enemies. A gang member will come in and he'll say, I'm ready, and I'll say, okay, I have an opening for you at the bakery, but you have to work with X, Y, and Z, and I rattle off the names of enemies. And they always think for a while, and then they say the same thing. They go, well, I'll work with them, but I'm not going to talk to them. Which used to bother me in the old days until, of course, you discovered that it's impossible for human beings to demonize people they know. You can't really sustain that. So this one day, I was walking a new hire, a guy everybody called Youngster. That was his gang name. And Youngster, I walk him into our Homeboy silkscreen factory, our biggest business, been around for 18 years. And it's a huge factory off campus, if you will. With 2,500 customers from all over the country. It's our best business. And so I'm going to introduce him to his 30 coworkers on the floor of the factory. And I walk him through and I watch as he shakes hands of everybody, including enemies, looks them in the eye. I think, wow, this is great. Until I get to the last guy, a kid everybody calls Puppet. And Puppet seems to be wanting to avoid this encounter altogether. When Puppet and Youngster are in each other's vicinity, they mumble something, they stare at their shoes, they don't shake hands. Well, I know they're enemies because I know what gangs they come from. But he just finished shaking hands with other enemies. So I sense and discover later that this is a hatred that's deep and personal, beyond which neither of them think they can get past. So I sense that much at the moment. I say, look, if you guys can't hang working together, let me know. I got a bunch of people who want this job. Calladito, silence. 6 months later, a Puppet is walking to a store some distance from his home, a little corner store. On his way home, he decides to take a shortcut, so he dodges into an alley. And because he's taken this detour, suddenly he's surrounded by 10 members of a rival gang, 10 against 1. They beat him badly. He falls to the ground, and while he's lying there, they will not stop kicking his head until he's lifeless. Somebody finds him, takes him to White Memorial Hospital, where he's declared effectively brain dead. But it's the policy at the hospital to keep you connected to machines for 48 hours, so you can get 2 days of a flat read, and then the doctors sign the death certificate. This allowed family and friends to gather. I was at St. Louis University giving a talk. I flew home. I've seen a lot of horrible things in my life, but nothing to compare to the sight of this young man with his head swollen many times its size. It was horrifying. You could barely train your eyes on him. So at the end of the 48-hour period, I give him a blessing. I anoint his forehead with oil. We disconnect. And a week later, I bury him. But in the first 24 hours, I'm alone in my office. It's 8:30 at night, and the phone rings, and it's Youngster, Puppet's coworker from the silkscreen. Hey, he says, that's messed up about what happened to Puppet. I said, yeah, it is. And then with a certain kind of eagerness even, he says, is there anything I can do? Can I give him my blood? And we both fall silent under the weight of it, until finally he breaks the silence, choking back his tears, and he says with great deliberation, he was not my enemy. He was my friend. We worked together. Can I say that always happens at Homeboy Industries? Yeah. Any exceptions? No. And it shouldn't surprise us that God's own dream come true for us, that we discover and recognize the risen life within us. Just happens to be our own deepest longing for ourselves. Tears wiped away, death swallowed up. Victorious meaning and the risen life hidden within us.